Well, this might be a little embarrassing, but today we're going to talk about why so many of my Shopify stores have failed, and I'm actually going to break down a little bit of stigma, just kind of stuff I feel is out there in the industry that people really don't understand, that ultimately leads to you finding a product as well as a store that will ultimately be successful. And successful can mean a whole bunch of different things. I just plain and simply mean making profit. So hey, welcome back into another video. If you're new here, my name is Hayden, and on this channel we talk a lot about business, primarily e-commerce, real estate, and some other random fun stuff with cars and travel. In this video, I want to take you through as quickly as possible three main things that have led to not only, I think the industry standards like 96% of Shopify stores being closed within a 60-day window, but also why probably 80% or maybe even 90% of my Shopify stores have failed, and why an even higher amount of that have been closed. I want to explain why I only just have a couple running. I want to talk about the differences that really make something stand out. And just in case you don't really know who I am, you haven't watched a lot of stuff on the channel, this is not from a one store perspective. I myself have probably had over 40 to 45 stores over the last 5 years. I haven't done, running one store up to $300,000 and then I just sell a course. I'm actively involved in this industry every single day. I haven't done 500,000 or $1 million. We're talking tens of millions of dollars in sales, which is still just such a blip in the radar when it comes to the total gross e-commerce sales online. But nonetheless, I want to be able to share my perspective and break all this down with you. So if you're excited for it, make sure to smash a like down below, and let's jump into these three things. So before I fully start embarrassing myself and explaining exactly a couple of these mistakes that I've made, I want to just give you a little bit more on those percentages for my stores. I open multiple stores for the purpose of making YouTube video examples and showing stuff inside of my course when I'm like running up a store and I want to show the ad strategy from scratch or show something with aggressive scaling, which, by the way, Merry Christmas. That's going to be when I'm posting this video if you guys celebrate Christmas or just the holidays in general. Hope you're having an extremely great day whenever you're watching this. As long as you're watching this within a couple week timeline right now, you can find our e-commerce program on a 50% off discount, plus you'll get access to an additional 20 hours worth of training that again just shows you more live examples from stores that I've built. You can check that out with the top link in the description. But from a store perspective, I've opened and closed many because they were just examples and I wasn't like planning on running it long term. But a huge portion of my stores have actually made less than $0. They've lost me money, maybe they've broken even. I've had a lot lose. And now from a store perspective, it's very, very similar to testing products. So when I build a store personally, for me, I'm super selective and super just hyper analytical when it comes to my product research. Well, what does that mean? That means I'm very confident when I actually test a product. So I will have an entirely new store built by my personal development team that builds stores, and they mostly build them for our clients inside of our agency e-com season. But nonetheless, I'll have them just build a store real quick. It cost me like 80 bucks. Have them build something. And then I'll go throw together some ads, keep it pretty simple, test the product. Oh no, it didn't work, whatever, let's scrap it. So that's kind of how I test. A lot of people do it on a general store. I don't like to mix data too much, especially when I'm scaling quickly, but I'll focus on these stores. And over time, I've also made a lot of stores that are seasonal. I really don't like to do those anymore, but also stores that are trend-based. I've done LED light strips. I've had LED bars on tops of trucks, and that worked for a while. And the different products that I realize have a certain lifespan, not saying that either of those do or don't, but just ones that work for me for a period of time, and then they might fade off, and then I close down the store after a while because there's no point in having a $200 to $300 a month charge for the Shopify fee as well as a few apps if I'm not actively using it and actually at least making back that money every single month. So that's kind of from my perspective on why a huge amount of my stores are closed. Let's talk about industry standard numbers and my perspective on this again, just to kind of validate this opinion. And I'm able to see this a lot, which is really cool. I'm really grateful to be able to see that and have so many people like inside of our program build successful stores, and I get to see why they work. And then they try to start a second one and it doesn't work. So I get to see that. Hundreds and hundreds of times over. The number one issue I see that Shopify stores close down for is over testing ad strategies. So the number one issue actually doesn't come with anything Shopify related. Shopify, people like, does Shopify still work? Dude, Shopify is just a hosting platform. It's what you're doing for your purpose on Shopify. If you have an e-commerce site, your purpose is to get customers. Where does that happen? Marketing. So I see a lot of people over testing ad strategies, which means they watch me, they watch 4 other people, they watch this guy, they watch this guy in France and this gal talking about ads, maybe Google ads and Facebook ads, and they buy 2 courses from people who don't really know what they're doing, and it's a lot of information. I don't even want to say misinformation. It's just cluttering your brain. My simple piece of advice is pick one strategy and focus on it. Pick one platform. I would recommend Facebook, but that's up to you. Pick one platform, one strategy, and focus on that until it's working. And then once it's working, you have the cash flow. You can start doing whatever you want. You can introduce new ideas. You can introduce new strategies. That's exactly what I've done, and it works extremely well. So again, if you want to learn the Facebook ad side of things and see it all live instead of just seeing it explained, you can check out that top link in the description. But over testing your ad strategies, that's by far, in my opinion, the number one reason why stores get shut down super quickly. People spend their entire budget really fast and gone, you have to close the store. Number two kind of relates to spending money quickly, but more so spending money in a, let's say, a not so smart fashion. Show me the money! This is how I went broke when I was starting e-commerce. It's not a fake story. I've told it so many times, I've broken. I even found the products and I've shown you guys. My first 4 products, they were all a flop. And then it was a stupid little phone case that started working. Fail, 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 fail. The problem with the first fail, so stupid. I had saved up a decent amount of money. It was about $5,000. I invested 100% into that first product. All of my money, because I was confident it would work. Why? I don't know. I didn't know anything about the ad strategies, so I should have seen that it wasn't going to work. But never, and this is just my opinion for you, never invest 100% of your starting budget into your first product's marketing. The reason for that, even if it does work, it's a bad habit because it's really not very practical to assume that your first product's going to work. Just to give you a statistic that I know for a fact because I'm the one doing it. Inside of our agency e-com season, we work with dozens of clients, probably about 40 month over month, and new people cycle in and out because they don't want to do it, but about 40 consistent clients, right? And those people have been with us for a long time. We constantly test products for them. On average, it takes 4 to 7 products for us to find the first intro winner, is what we call it, which means the first product that starts producing cash flow. That doesn't mean it's going to be scaled to $500,000 a month or $1 million a month. It might just be a small product, right? And in the meantime, we keep testing more products. So your first product might not be that winner, which is why I recommend go slow. And I never like to give that advice because I'm always like, super impatient, pedal to the metal, let's just go, go, go. But being patient is going to help you out long term. So don't spend 100% of your money on the first product. That is a huge reason, number 2, why in my opinion, people close down their Shopify stores so quickly. And just to give you an example on that point, this is actually really reminds me of sales. It's very similar. If anyone's a salesperson out there, you have to talk to X amount of people to find the customer. It's literally just a numbers game. It's no different with product testing. So if you're a car salesman, talk to 100 people, you know you can get 5 people to be interested and get to the dealership, you sell 1. So you know your numbers. And this is actually something I started to figure out and learn when I was in the sales game doing door-to-door sales. And then when I moved to LA, when I had just turned 17 roughly, and I was always out there, well, when I moved to Los Angeles, that's when I really started figuring this out. And it was actually a funny story. I'll summarize it in 10 seconds. Me and my friend went to the beach one day in Santa Monica. I was 17, naturally an introvert, wasn't too confident. I was just normally just sitting in my house running my business stuff, making good money. We made it our target. Talked to 100 girls that day, no matter what. Try to get 100 phone numbers. I think I walked away with 9 and he had 12, which is actually a decent rate to get a number. I mean, it's not great, but nonetheless, it took me so long to approach the first girl. Then the second one was so much less time, less time. Eventually, after repetition and numbers, you no longer think about it. It becomes a process, not an emotion. It's the same thing in sales. It's the same thing with e-commerce. Do not feel emotion towards your product. Just because it's your first product, I understand it might be scary, it might be important, you're attached to it. It's your first product, I get it. But don't spend 100% of your time, just like sales, or in this case, 100% of your money on your first product. Now, number 3, this is something that in my opinion is why I see a lot of people who at least show me their stuff and are willing to say, Hayden, can you look at this? Why is this not working? This is a huge reason. Let me make sure this camera's focused. I've been trying to dial it in for you guys. I apologize if it's in and out a little bit. But one of the huge reasons I see is people don't price their products correctly. And that's a micro thing. Normally I don't focus on something this small, but a lot of people be like, oh, wait, I get it for $9. I can sell it for 30. Let me try and sell it for 35. Right? They try to maximize the dollar volume when they don't even have customers coming in yet. So here's a strategy. This is something nobody told me through all the courses. I've probably gone through 11 or 12 e-commerce courses now, just around Facebook ads. I never saw this because it's not really a hot strategy or something. This is just something I kind of did. If you think you can sell your product for 25 because that's what it's at on Amazon and it's very easy to sell it for 25 to 35, well, I'll tell you what. If you try to sell the product for $15 and it doesn't sell there, I can almost guarantee you it won't sell at 25, right? So people are like, wait, but I'm getting the product for $9. I don't want to lose money on ads. I'm like, dude, it's a way to rapid test products. lower your price, see if there's even an interest. If there's not, there's no point in spending more time or money on it because there's no way it'd be working at a higher price point, right? So it's just something to think about. That's an easy way to try your marketing in a very easy way and start rapid testing those products. So hopefully this video gave you some insight into why people typically close their Shopify stores. One word of closing advice for you. A brick and mortar business wouldn't be stopping within 45 days and canceling their lease because first of all, they couldn't. People try to think that online is something different and it's fast and it's crazy. Just because it can be doesn't mean it will be for most people. So just be realistic about the timeline. Be realistic about your budget. I try to always tell people it's a skill. It's a very high income skill once you learn it, but it just takes time. It takes work just like anything else, okay? So I really hope that that message comes across clear. I don't want this to come across as bragging or anything, and I hope it doesn't because I'm not trying to flex some results. I'm not trying to, say that everything I do is perfect. I mean, a very, very, very large majority of everything I try fails. But that's the point. You don't need a lot of stuff to work to make a bunch of money in this space. So I hope that makes sense. I hope this video found you well. Hope that you consider dropping a like down below. And if you really want some in-depth information so that you can actually do this for yourself and see that entire process step by step, be sure to check out the Facebook Ad Academy link down below. Now that is purely a marketing platform. That is purely a program for marketing. So if you want to dominate Facebook ads, even if you have zero experience, that's where you go. But what I don't show inside of there is how to build a store. I don't show how to write the product descriptions, the titles, the pricing. But what I will do for you is give you an additional $800 program with over 20 hours of training that does show all that stuff for free. That's a training I have not sold or given away in the last year. So if you want access to that, you're gonna be saving I think it's like, you guys are gonna be paying like $200. You're gonna get all this stuff, 2 separate programs. So check it out, enjoy it. Happy holidays. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.